Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This slide is basically is the part of our chapter 3, and on request of few of my students, especially my uh, electrical engineering students, I'm preparing this part of the chapter is basically related with the job satisfaction. Job satisfaction is the one of the important aspect related with the, you can say that, related with the uh, attitudinal part, you can say that, are basically the part of the your organizational attitude, or you can say that a behavioral outcome as well as. So when we're talking about job attitude, so by job attitude we means that the people has a different, you can say that, different understanding about their, they what they perceive about their organization and how they react in the organization. So attitude and behavior is so much discussed during the classes timings before this holidays. We discussed in already in discussed in the classroom settings, and we discussed in a detailed about attitude and behavior. Just remind you about attitude and behavior is, I told you that attitude is basically a predisposition, and behavior is mostly related with the consequences. And people experienced and people different perception, these are the kind of the aspects, these are the kinds of the issues which related with the attitude and behavior. Then we come up to this job satisfaction. As you're seeing on the screen, job satisfaction is basically a positive feeling about one's job resulting from an evaluation of its characteristics. This is a basic definition of the job satisfaction. And job satisfaction, when you're talking about the job satisfaction, so this means that job satisfaction is related with the job involvement as well as in the organization. For example, a person with low satisfaction holds negative feelings in the job, and while a positive feelings person has a high job satisfaction. Why organizational behavior is working on this, or why organizational behavior researcher is talking about this scale or this factor, is basically we are more related with the job involvement factor. What do you mean by job involvement is basically the degree to which a person identifies with the job, actively participate in it, and consider performance important to their self-worth. So this is job involvement basically. Now, when you explaining the job involvement, so it means that the person or individual or people psychologically identify with their, or psychologically attach with their jobs. Then the second thing is perceived performance level, which is basically the self-worth of the individuals. Perceived performance means that what you can achieve in the organization, or what can you do for the organization, you can say that, or you can say that I am a capable person to do this job. So this is a perceived performance. You perceive it about yourself, you perceived it about the organization, you perceived it about so many things which give you a self-worth as well as. So this is how you can say it. For example, you are the students of the engineering. So when you get the degrees of the engineer, So you will be able to do the electrical engineering related activities, or you will be apply for the electrical engineering related jobs. Obviously you will apply for these kind of the jobs. So this is why you're applying it, because you has the degree uh, to apply for engineering related jobs. So this is a perceived performance that you can achieve it. You has a self-worth to achieve it. So the other thing is the psychological empowerment. The psychological empowerment is also very important. Psychological empowerment, what does the meaning of the psychological empowerment? The psychological empowerment means that the people has the degree uh, to influence their work environment, their competencies, their meaningfulness of their job, and the perceived autonomy as well. As this is basically a perceived or psychological empowerment, you can say that. Here you can see it. One of the primary job attitude broad broad Meyer, involving a complex individual summation of a number of discrete job elements. I already explained. These are some of the rating that one. This is the how to measure a single global rating. One rating and one question, one answer is the best. Summation score is many questions and one average. You can score it on based on the average. So it's okay. People Are people satisfied in their job in the US? Yes, but the level appears to be dropping. Results depend on how job satisfaction is measured. Pay and promotions are the most problematic measures. So these are some of the figures. In Pakistan, the job satisfaction level is also decreasing. Sorry. Job satisfaction is basically as as you're seeing here, that job satisfaction is basically attitude. When you're talking about attitude, so it's vary from one person to another person, obviously. So there are so many reasons about the satisfaction. There are so many reasons about that, on which factors the people's like the organization and dislike the organization. Pay and promotion are also the one of the concern area, or one of the concern factors on which people decide or leave the organization or remain in the organization. So then the other thing is causes of the job satisfaction. Causes of the job satisfaction is related with the. So before going for the causes of job satisfaction, I would like to explain the psychological empowerment basically. Psychological empowerment is basically believe in the degree to which they affect their work environment, their competence, their meaningfulness of their job, and their perceived autonomy in their job. So these are the three major factors. Number one is uh, competence. Second thing is meaningfulness, and the third thing is the job autonomy. So these three things basically is the antecedents, or these three things are basically the determinants of the psychological capital, which used, or which is one of the characteristics which we can relate it when you're talking about job satisfaction. Psychological empowerment is one of the key factor for the satisfaction. Remember one thing is that psychological empowerment is very important for the organization, or for individual as well. As sorry, for individual is more relevant. So for example, a surgeon, or for example a teacher. So for a teacher, psychological empowerment is that I can easily teach a subject related with engineering, if a teacher is related with the engineering department. So he or she has capability to teach the courses related with the this engineering side is based on the psychological empowerment, and that the person has the competency to teach the courses. The person has the meaningfulness with the profession of the teaching, and then the person has as well as the autonomy to achieve to teach the engineering related courses. Then causes of the job satisfaction. So the causes of the job satisfaction is related with the influences job satisfaction after about 4,000 uh, $40,000 a year in the US. There is no relationship between amount of pay and job satisfaction. So when you're talking about Pakistan, so there is also so many reasons that people is not happy with their salaries, are not feel good about their salaries. The only reason is that people link it so many other factors, and the salary is never be the strong factor for the satisfaction. Personality can also influence job satisfaction. Negative people are usually not satisfied with their jobs. Those with positive core self-evaluation are more satisfied with their job. It's obviously core self-evaluation means that we are evaluating ourselves on a daily basis, or you can say that evaluate ourselves on self-evaluation basis, that we evaluate our personalities, we evaluate our jobs, we evaluate our work on our own analysis, not depend on that organization is seeing us, organization is evaluating us, that's why we are doing it. The satisfied people are core self-evaluated peoples are always thinking about their own personalities and link it with the organizational task as well as. Then employee responses to dissatisfaction. Employee responses to dissatisfaction is basically exit, voice, neglect, and loyalty. Behavior directed toward leaving the organization. When you are leaving the organization, is directly related with the exit. Then voice, when you are not satisfied, so you involve or you engage in the constructive discussions to improve the conditions. And the other kind of the persons who altogether allowing conditions to worsen or worst, to make the situation or to make the environment more worst, in that kind of the dissatisfaction. And then the other kind of the person is basically a loyal person who wait for the conditions to improve. What are the basic outcomes? The basic outcomes of the job satisfaction is job performance. Satisfied peoples will perform more betterly, they are more productive. Organizational citizenship behavior is the another outcomes. Organizational citizenship behavior is the satisfaction influences OCB through perceptions of fairness. Then the OCB and perceived organizational support is basically the same thing. I already share with you and tell you about the book Stephen Robbins. You can purchase that book, and you can see that in the in his book. um, he also talking about OCB and as well as related with the perceived organizational support. What does the meaning of perceived organizational support? Perceived organizational support meaning is that the degree to which employee believe an organizational or organization values their contribution and cares about their well-being. With this perceived organizational support, people also related with the organizational citizenship behavior. Perceived organizational support meaning is that you has the belief, you have the belief about your organization that your organization will support you in so many issues. Like you has the perceived organizational support meaning is that you has the confidence that your organization will help you in the trouble situations, or support you for the trainings, or support you for your education, or support you for the other issues as well as that might be monetary issues and as well as non-monetary issues. By monetary issues we mean that money related, and then non-monetary is related that non-financial matters. Then customer satisfaction, if the people or individual employees are satisfied, they normally satisfied with the frontline employees, increase customer satisfaction and loyalty. As well as absenteeism is the satisfied employees are moderately less likely to miss work. It's obvious absenteeism is that people are ready to work for the jobs, are not ready for to work for the jobs. So absenteeism is two basic thing is the absenteeism is when you are not coming to the organization, and another thing is job withdrawal, and this job withdrawal is related with when people is not willing to work for the organization. They come to the organization, they are actually present in the organization, but they are not willing to work for the organization. So this is also the another kind of the um absenteeism as well. As then the OCB. So other thing is the OCB, about the OCB is that you can say that how much people support you in the organization, how much people help you in the organization. This is also organizational citizenship behavior. Other outcomes of the job satisfaction is related with the turnover and the workplace deviance. Turnover is the satisfied employees are less likely to quit. Many moderating variables in this relationship is economic environment and tenure, organizational actions taken to retain high performers and to weed out low performer. These are some of the outcomes of the job satisfaction. Moderating is the influencing variables. Moderating variables means that all those variables who influence in the particular relationships are strong influence in the particular relationships. So the economic environment means is the, for example, is that if I offer you a job, a government job, and you are working in a private organization, so in most of the cases, especially in Pakistan, in most of the cases, you can say that around 80% of the cases, or more than 80% of the cases, is people leave the private organization and join a government organization because the only reason is economic environment. The other thing is that people are more secured in the government organization as comparatively to the private organizations. That's why they leave the private organization and join the government organization. This is most of the case in the Pakistan. I am talking about only of the Pakistan. And then the tenure is also one of the factor that how much you are satisfied, how much you are has a prior experience for this kind of the job. So this is also the case when you leave the organization or do not leave the organization. Organizational actions to retain high performers and to weed out the low performers. This is also one of the case that organization retain the good performer and low performer. They terminate or lay off the bad performer as well. As then the next thing is workplace deviance. Workplace deviance, by workplace deviance, is also the outcome of the job satisfaction. Dissatisfied workers are more likely to unionize, abuse substances, steal, beat OD, and withdraw. Uh, Workplace deviance is means that those kind of the people who basically create problems for the organization, and they're not actively participate in the organizational activity, and as well as you can say that create a lot of issues for the organization as well. They make the unions in the organization, they abuse substances, they misuse the resources, and as well as withdraw from their jobs as well. As withdraw is another. Withdraw meaning is basically for you people is understanding is, by withdraw we means that people is physically present in the organization, but mentally they are not present. They did not like to work for the organization, and they not take interest in the organizational resources or organizational work as well. As so, despite the overwhelming evidence of the impact of job satisfaction on the bottom line, most managers are either unconcerned about or overestimate worker satisfaction. What does this means unconcerned? This is very important. Let me clear you, this is very important. Most managers unconcerned is means that manager is not giving importance to the job satisfaction element and ignore the job satisfaction characteristics in the organization, and this gives them a lot of problems for the organization. I would like to share you the example of the Stanway organization. Stanway organization was one of the top leading piano manufacturing company of America. But due to different reasons, and due to the one of the reason is that their employees are not satisfied in the organization, and due to this dissatisfaction, their most of the people, their most of the employees are leaving the organization. So when the organization is not concerned about their employee, so a top leading organization is also facing problem like that. The Stanway organization faced the same problem. Are you overestimate worker satisfaction? Overestimate worker satisfaction mean is that when you hide out the other factors, or you cannot give the importance to these kind of the factors. So this is also related with overestimation. For example, managers think that their workers are satisfied with the policies, with the structure, with the job designing criteria, with the support environment criteria, but actually their employees are not satisfied. So the managers must look out these things, and manager must be very careful about these things and these issues as well as. So this concludes um, our this job satisfaction portion. As you requested to me to prepare job satisfaction and as well as related with the outcomes and others aspects related with the job satisfaction, so I prepared it for you. If you still have any query related with job satisfaction or related with this chapter, so you can directly ask from me on my this WhatsApp link, which already we uh, designed for you people, and already we are arranged this group for the electrical engineering student and as well as for my management students. So do you have any questions? You have, if you have any ambiguity, or if you have still not cleared about anything, so please ask. So we will discuss it in a very detail, and then also use our LMS as well as, and then we can discuss the other aspects in the part of this uh, related with the uh, queries related. You can ask anything related with the questions related with the assignments related with the minor assignments. So thank you very much.